Welcome back to our 12 days of Christmas, and today we're on day number 8. You might notice that we've changed who is doing the recording, and it's because today we're changing to using the same templates that we used in our first 7 days, and this time we are working with changing them to be wool ornaments, and you could make them into a garland as well. So I'm just going to take you through the steps of what it would be to do these as wool. So first thing I want to talk about is that we have got on your email a link to a set of wool if you don't have any scraps of your own. And in your little set for $15, if you wanted to stop in the store and purchase it, or if you wanted to order it online, is a piece of cream color wool that is enough wool to make all of the ornaments in cream. And then we have a piece of green, a piece of gold, a piece of red, and a piece of blue. So it gives you some options of what you want to do with the up and coming ornaments that we're going to have the next few days. So something I want you to keep in mind is that you are going to be using the exact same templates that you used for the first 7 days. These are super easy, super fun to do. The other thing that I want you to be reminded of from your email is that I have a link to a very basic set of stitches. So if you've not done wool before, it is a PDF file that you can download and print, and it is from Martingale Company. And so you can print it from the email, or you can print it from our Fabric Patch Creative Group site as well. So let's get started. So first of all, in the supplies, what you need to make this is you would need 2 pieces of wool for the star. And just like in the previous video, we talked about 5-inch squares are plenty for everything. For this little star that I'm showing you, you need to have some sequins. And we have, again, in our little package, if you choose that you want to purchase that, are sequins that come on a string, but you probably have some sequins at home as well. And then you can use pearl cotton or embroidery floss. Both will work fine for you if you're trying to get this made very last minute before the holiday. I'm just going to move on to my next slide. And so the first thing that you want to do is you're going to use that exact same template that you used before for your star. You're going to trace, this time though, around the exact outside of the star. When you were making them out of the cotton, Deb had you cutting it an extra amount of fabric so that you would be stitching on this line. So this time we're going to make it the size of the template. And then we're going to fold it and find the center, and using a Friction pen, we're going to mark the center just like you see me highlighting right here. Once you have done that and you remove that template, then you're going to take a little square edge ruler of some sort, and you're going to mark a branch out into each of the star points, just like I did here, and you're going to stop approximately 3/4 of an inch from the point of each one of the star points. If you already know how to stem stitch, you will just stem stitch, or else use the reference guide in the stitching patterns that we have you downloadable, and you are going to stem stitch your branches. So just like you see here, this is the long branch, and the long branch, then if we look at my finished one, is what you see right here. And so that is stem stitched, and when I did these, I stem stitched from the bottom, from the long edge out right into the center, and then I stitched like at a 3/4 of an inch up, and I just made 2 little back stitches to give us some little tiny branches, and then I did the same thing to make a second set. So in this picture you can see that a little bit clearer that these are just two little back stitches, because they're easy to do. And so you go around and you do for all 5 points, which will make that really easy to accomplish. And then you can just take your sequins and take them off the string, and you don't have to put them on exactly like I did. You could use French knots, you could use beads, you could use buttons, but if you're using sequins, you're going to take and stitch them on. I did a up close photograph of this. You can see I just used a matching color thread, and I just did 2 little stitches on each sequin to hold them into place. And so I did 5 of them in the center, groups of 3 like little holly berries, because that's what I enjoyed. I thought that looked really cute. If I were stitching this on a garment or something that's going to get wear and tear, I'd be tempted to probably do a 3rd stitch on each one. And I just used a regular thread. I didn't use anything special. I just had a red thread that kind of matched, and I think you probably would do the same. Once you have the sequins on, or the buttons, or whatever you do, you're going to cut the stars out exactly the same. And I should back up that you probably noticed that I did all of my stitching before I cut around the star. It was just easier to stitch something small like that if you're doing it traced on and then cut your shape out. Then you're just going to go ahead and you're going to blanket stitch around the entire star. And this is just an up close view of my blanket stitching using a pearl cotton again, or you could use your embroidery floss. And if you're using embroidery floss, I would probably use all 6 threads if I want to make it a thick outside. That's your choice, your discretion. You could use a size 8 or a 12 pearl cotton. Again, your discretion. I happen to use off-white because it matched my fabric, but maybe you want your stitching to really show up. Maybe you want to do it in black. It's your little star. Do what you want with it. Just remember to leave an opening and to lightly stuff your star. And make sure you get your stuffing into each of the points of the star, and then you're going to just stitch the opening, continue through and stitch the opening closed. And so just like I say on this next slide, you're going to pick one of the spots to stitch that opening closed, add a hanging loop, and then you're probably going to have some of those drawn lines left on your star. Add a hanging loop, hover with your steam iron to remove all those placement lines, and your little star is done. You could make multiples and add them to a garland and make a garland if you want. My intention on my next little wool ornaments is they're all going to be little hang tags on gifts for special people in my family, and then they can use them as an ornament, or they could pass it on and make it a hang tag for someone else's ornament. I do have a link that is right on the video here and also in my email that you are able to purchase that little wool fabric if you so desire. So with that, have fun creating, and we'll see you tomorrow for day number 9.